entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey von Bill Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right. Hello, guys. Super excited to be with you guys. I know last week, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Last week we did not have a Monday Night Live. It was the first time in almost 3 years. I think it was last week or the week before, but it's okay. We've moved on. But welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. Every single Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have these Monday Night Live sessions where we just kind of dive into different topics that affect entrepreneurs. And we help you get clarity in understanding the topic, but also help you understand how to implement it in your businesses. I am Corey von Bill Foster. I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a certified business coach specializing in business implementation. That's right, getting things done in your business. I'm also the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, where we provide done-for-you services such as VA services, websites, logos, email campaigns, and more. So if that's something you need, don't hesitate to reach out. We have a really great topic tonight. We're going to be talking about creating lead magnets. I'm super passionate about this topic because people don't realize when we started this business, and I say we, but it was really just me by myself. I was doing everything organically, and I'll be very, very honest. We didn't start running ads until this year. So we've been in business now almost 7, 8 years, somewhere in there. I need to do the math, y'all. But at least 6 years we've been in business. But I think we're actually probably closer to 7 going into 8. But to say we've been doing business for that long and we did not start running ads until this 2025, till this year, says a lot. So we definitely understand the organic marketing landscape. And I think that it's a doable landscape for a lot of you who don't have the funds to run ads. The climate definitely has changed. I'm big on to being honest about that. I'm like, some of the things we did back in the day really don't work now. Just because the landscape has changed so drastically. I think that the powers that be saw that in 2020 when everybody was virtual and a lot of people started their own businesses due to layoffs and all the things, that there was money to be had. So a lot of the free things we used to do not work anymore. So that is why we're doing ads this year to get ready to help our clients run ads, make sure and kind of add that to what we do. But saying all that to say, that even without ads, there is a way to start and grow a small business, especially if you are newer and you don't have funds to invest in that right now. One of those ways is a lead magnet. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Few little housekeeping things. If you just saw my Facebook Live, you know that your girl had another eye procedure. I have a rare eye condition that it be playing with me, y'all. Be playing in my face, but I ended up having to have a little eye procedure on Friday. Hopefully you can't see the difference, but if you can, mind your business. But no, because of that, I cannot really see. So there will be no PowerPoints tonight. I got one good note card, and I can't see most of it. So we gonna roll. I was telling one of my interns, she's here with me. She's on the last live we saw because I had her in the live with me, helping me with the tech. But I was telling her, like, I know this information because I was like, we gonna wing it. She's like, wing it. I was like, I know the information. That's the beauty of knowing your stuff. The notes are helpful because it keeps me on target so that I don't go rambling away. However, yeah, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So we're gonna have a really great conversation. Still feel free to leave comments. I won't be acknowledging them in real time, but please feel free to put them in there and I will have my intern help me read those and then I will respond. So don't feel like you can't DM and do all the things. The business is still running, y'all. The business is still running. We learned a couple years ago when I had a huge eye flare to put some systems in place. So the business is running well. Everybody's stuff is fine. Your girl just can't see. But anyway, Before we jump into the topic, I do want to remind you guys that on this weekend, October 18th and 19th, we will be having our yearly summit. This year, it's called the Implementation Lab Live. We did this several years ago, and we did a summit, and it was amazing. The speakers were amazing. The value that they brought was amazing. The audience takeaways were amazing. And so we finally revamped it and brought it back this year for you guys. It is completely free to attend. If you would like the link to get your free ticket, just put implement in the chat and we will send you the link so that you can get yourself a free ticket, get one for your friend, your sister, your cousin, whomever. If you are someone who loves to feel special and you want all the extra perks and bonuses, we do have a VIP option, which is $97, which gets you the replays. It also gets you all the bonus pieces that we have for you guys. Each one of our speakers gave a bonus resource. So we got templates, guides, bonus sessions, all that fun stuff. So feel free to upgrade to VIP. We're also going to be putting in there some additional little bonuses. I hope to be able to show you those later on in the week. Also, the speakers, they've been so amazing, y'all. If you've been on social media, you've seen some of their promos, but also they've sat down and had podcast episodes with me. And we did this because while they're going to be giving you all the things during the event, I personally wanted to ask them some questions that I knew you guys were interested in. So we did some podcast episodes. Those are coming out this week. It's kind of just as little bonuses for you all to understand more about these speakers, know more about their expertise, but also get some nuggets, some little, little that to whet your palate before the event. So don't be afraid to check those out. They're available on YouTube under the iRock Remarkable Business Solutions page. And then they are also available on most podcast platforms. So definitely check those out. All right, anyway, let's get into it. So what is a lead magnet? And I'm going to start here because some of you are going to be like, why are we starting there? And it's because some of us are newer. And I remember not too long ago, and it still happens every now and then when somebody's like, what is that? What is that? Okay, so a lead magnet is essentially a resource. We're going to keep it general, a resource that you create that allows your audience to get some type of little win, right? Something, right? Or gives them access to learn more about you and your company. In exchange for that ability to learn more about you or to get that little win, you get their name, email address, sometimes their phone number. And so that's what the lead magnet is. And it literally is that it leads people to know more about your business or to an offer. There are several types. But because I know I work with mostly coaches and consultants, let me tell you the ones I suggest. All right. You can always Google lead magnets and there's a list that you can, look at and have fun with. But the ones I find that are the best at conversion, which means that not only are people seeing it, but they're converting to taking the next action, are PDF lead magnets if they're done well. And what does that look like? It could be a guide, it could be a template, it could be a script, it could be a workbook, but basically it gives them information, allows them to work through something, understand the concept better, have that win, right? Whether the win is knowledge, whether the win is actually implementing something, and it lets them have that win and then invites them to take another action. My favorite by far lead magnet type is a webinar. It is absolutely amazing. And oftentimes it's not very it doesn't cost you a lot to create. So what does a webinar lead magnet look like? Well, it looks like, again, you are going to create a webinar, right? A visual video, whether it's live or pre-recorded. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But whether it's live or pre-recorded, and it's going to be on a topic that your audience is struggling with, right? Some pain point they have, you're like, hey, I'm going to help you get through this. And it kind of moves the needle. It may not get them from A to B, but maybe 8.5, from A to 8.5, something like that. And then again, there's a call to action where they can then take the next step. And the way they get access to that is, again, filling out a little form, name, email, whatever, registering, however that goes. But I like webinars because when it comes to a PDF, and I know this from doing it, and I know this from other people doing it to me, right? People will give you their name and information. They'll download the lead magnet, right? They'll download the PDF. And then sometimes they never open it, right? They just don't use it. They never convert to the next step because they're like, oh, I like this, but then it just goes into the ether, never to be seen again. People who actually do download it and use it do convert well to taking the next step, but you're going to lose a lot of people in the fact that most folks just click and then they forget about it. The webinar, on the other hand, they get access to this video, especially if it's live. And then they get to not only get the little win from whatever you're teaching, but they get a chance to see what you're like, especially if you're a coach or consultant, because people want to work with people that they actually enjoy, right? Who fit their vibe, that they can connect with. And so they get to hear your voice. They get to see how you teach. They get to enjoy your personality. They can see how poised you are, how tech savvy you are, all the things. And they get to see the value that you bring, all in typically an hour to an hour and a half session. If it's live, they also get to, interact with you a bit with Q&A, things of that nature. Pre-record is good if you really kind of nail down your webinar. I usually suggest doing it a couple times live and then converting it to evergreen, which means it just stays there on its own. But again, they still get to see you. They get to hear case studies or testimonials about you. And it's a very great way to quickly introduce yourself and your brand to a potential client and show off yourself as an expert and kind of build that credibility and that know, like, and trust really quickly. Outside of that, there are some other kind of lead magnet things. Some people do demos depending on what they're selling on the back end. Some people will have challenges. Challenges are good too. They just are a little bit more labor intensive. Even events can be a lead magnet. So we have our event on October 18th and 19th. That could technically be considered a lead magnet in the fact that people can register for free and learn more about me. And of course, there'll be something at the end. But like I said, challenges, there's white pages, there's all kind of things. But I don't typically suggest white pages or infographics, because while they give great information, I find that for, again, coaches and consultants, the conversion isn't very high because it typically doesn't give people enough to get the win. And without the win, the conversion is going to be pretty low. So we're going to focus mostly on lead magnets that are like video-based, event-based, and then even that PDF one. So how do you set these lead magnets up? There are so many different ways in which you can set them up, so many different systems. But essentially, you need a way for people to sign up, register, give you their information, which is typically an opt-in form. Right. So I wouldn't go create like maybe a Google form or something like that. Like an opt-in form is great. If you have any platform that allows you to create emails or landing pages, typically you're going to find an opt-in template in one of those. So your Get Response, your Flowdesk, your ConvertKit, your Kajabi, your Thinkific, your 17 Hats, Keep. All of those, your CRM, Honeybook, Dubsado, HubSpot, any of those, you should be able to create a simple enough opt-in page. Do not overthink your opt-in page unless it is for an event. Events need a little bit more because typically there's a lot going on. But for most people, you can get, especially if it's a short little something, you can get away with just having a form where they can put their name, email, like I said, maybe phone number, and then you're putting a little bit of information about what it is they're going to get, and you're done. If it's an event, so a challenge, or like a bigger event, a summit, a workshop, whatever, you may want to create more of an event landing page, which has a bit more detail. But again, at the end of the day, what are they going to do? They're going to give you their name, email, and possibly phone number. And I say possibly phone number because typically I find that you get better conversion if the phone number portion is optional. Sometimes people change the wording to be like, hey, if you want text reminders, then give us your phone number. But people are sometimes leery because they don't want nobody to call them. So I always make that optional, but at least name and email address, because this lead magnet is great on the front end because, yes, you want people, again, to get to know you and all that, have the win, and then do the next action. But some of those people are not going to do the next action. Some people are going to opt in and never come to your events, never download the PDF, never do anything. But the cool thing about it, right, the kind of the silver lining is the fact that you will have their information so that you can now be on the offense and reach out to them via your email list. right? So that's a lead magnet. We're building up your leads, your contacts, and things like that. So that's kind of like I said, that silver lining. Even if they don't progress through the perfect pipeline, right? Of they found out about the freebie or whatever it is, they've opted in, they watch the webinar or whatever, and then they convert to whatever the next little thing is. That would be the dream, but that doesn't happen for everybody, right? So we want to be able to have like safety nets kind of to catch them along the way if they don't do the thing, do things at every stage. So just something to think about there. So like I said, you can set it up as long as you have like an opt-in page for folks. The opt-in page, typically, say it's a webinar, it will lead to them being able to, if the webinar is like live, like evergreen, they can watch it now or what have you. If it's live, then it'll let them know how to access it live, which is fine either way. It also typically comes in with a simple lead magnet funnel. It usually has an email. Why is this? Is because a lot of people get to lead magnets through social media. And where do we typically engage with social media? On our phones. But that doesn't mean I want to watch a 60 or 90 minute webinar or watch a whole challenge on my phone. And so I may sign up and then exit off my phone, meaning that email allows us as entrepreneurs to still be like, hey, here's the links, here's all that information that was on that landing page that may not still be up on their phone, right? And it also can give extra information, such as joining a private group or a school community. It can give them more information about you as a company, as a brand. It can tell them how to prep for whatever it is. It can give them a workbook to go with your challenge, all kind of stuff. But you do want to have like a welcome, thank you, you're in type of email that goes along with your lead magnet funnel sequence, client journey, whatever you want to call it. They're all the same thing. And then, of course, after they opt in, they got their email, then they get the asset or find out how they can access the asset. That isn't where it ends. That isn't where it ends. Whatever it is that you're selling, offering on the back end. So if it's a webinar and you're offering them to come to a call with you, or if you did a challenge and you're inviting them to join a program, whatever it is, you then need to also provide additional follow-up emails, because remember, we lose people along the way. Some people are going to go to whatever it is that you offered them for free, but they're not going to stay the whole time, so they're not going to hear the pitch. Some people are going to not go and miss the whole thing, right? We want to be able to let them have another opportunity or to tap back in some kind of way. Some people are going to watch the whole thing and not do the offer right when you say, hey, here it is. You want to follow up with them. So you want to create at least some type of email sequence following that lead magnet, right? The thing that you created to keep that client engaged, keep them nurtured, and again, try to push them to whatever the offer is. So that's a little bit about kind of what that sequence looked like. And it varies a smidge between what type of form you're using. So whether you're doing a webinar, whether you're doing a PDF, whether you're doing an event, what have you, but the concept stays the same. One, how do we get their information to then be able to add them to our email list and keep engaging with them, right? That's the question I would have in my head. Second question is, if they fall off along the way, how do we keep them engaged and keep them moving along the client journey, right? Because a no is not no, it's not now. So how do we keep them engaged? All right, and then how do we get them as many wins as we can before selling them the high offer? That's the goal. Let's see. Like, I got little notes here and I can no longer read them. So we're gonna go rogue. So what else do we need to know about lead magnets? How do you know what type of lead magnet to create? There's a few things to think about. One is thinking about your topic. You need to think about what it is you're selling down the line, right? A lot of you will pull out a random lead magnet that connects to nothing that you do. You're just like, oh, I really want to make this, right? So you need to think logically and say, okay, if this is my endpoint, a lot of times we have to think of the end in mind, right? So if this is the endpoint, what do I need to create to lead people there? Like if I'm trying to get people to see, what is the A and the B, right? So that's your first step, is kind of thinking about your target audience, thinking about where they need to be to start your whatever, your program, your mastermind, your academy, your one-on-one, Where do they need to be? They need to be primed and ready for that. If that is the goal, what can we get them to do in the meantime that leads them to that, that keeps them excited about that, for them to see that they have holes that need to be filled, right, in that area that you can support them in, right? We need to look at their pain points, their challenges, and how what you offer helps them, and then create something small that will fit that to, again, lead them up into whatever it is that you're selling. So that's the first thing. Do not try to make these names of things really cool and clever. It really needs to strike at, I would almost say, an emotion of your target audience. It needs to make them realize, like, oh my God, I have that problem. I want that solution. So really think about the transformation when you name these lead magnets. You know, it's cool to have the cool name sometimes, but it's like, if people don't understand that it solves a specific problem that they have, a lot of times they're going to kind of go by it. All right, so we got a name, we kind of figured out like what we need to have, and then you can pick the format. Some of that has to do with your tech skills, right? Because the more you're doing, like as far as like an event, obviously takes more skill and a lot of times more funds than a PDF, right? So you got to kind of figure out what you can do, right? I told you webinars are probably my favorite. If you can do events, that's great. You don't have to do an event every time you do a lead magnet. And then PDFs are like, yeah, they're okay. They work. So pick which method you think you'll like. Don't be afraid to try different ones. Like, you could be teaching the same thing, but be like, hey, we're going to try PDF first. And if it doesn't hit like you think it will, make it into a webinar. See if that works better. Make it into a challenge. Make it into a workbook, like whatever. Like, keep making it, because I've gone to, matter of fact, my coach, Lamar, he has a book. I don't have it out in front of me, but it's called The Hidden Revenue something or another. There's a book. There's a workbook. There is a challenge. There is a 2-day intensive, all with the same name, covering the same core materials, but going deeper in each. And so don't be afraid to like keep the same name and just try different things till you see what the data is showing. Some data to look at. You want to look at click rate, right? Like, how many people are actually going to this lead magnet? From there, how many people actually opted into it? How many people attended whatever it is and went through the end? And then how many people converted to the next step? And then from that, how many people actually converted to some money in your hand, right? All that data is important, because a lot of people will say, oh, this thing failed because I didn't get conversions. But it's like, but where did they fall off along the way? Because we may just need to tighten one or two parts of the client journey to make it a success. It may not be that the lead magnet itself wasn't great, right? So just keep that in mind. We gotta have to monitor all the process. So that's how you can kind of think about, you know, which type you want to make. We talked about pain points and all of that fun stuff. Trying to think, is there anything else that I forgot to mention? Like my interns over there, read the card for me. Is there anything I forgot for the folks? Like, she probably can't even read my handwriting, but you tell me. Yeah. Yeah. She can't read my handwriting. What else? Anything else? Oh, no, it's cool. I think we covered most of it. So you guys can't see her, but she's sitting over yonder. All right, so that kind of gives you the understanding of, you know, like I said, what types that you can create, what should kind of be included, what to look for to see if it's a success. And just be creative with it. Try it out. Lead magnets are just a great tool, period, to help you start building out your email list. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about too. How do people get to the lead magnet? My assistant asked me that when we first started doing them for other people. She was like, well, how do we get people to the lead magnet? There are several ways, and it depends on what the end goal is. One, if you already have an email list, it could be a great way to re-engage with them by giving them something free, even though they're not going to be added to the email list, they're already there. But it also could be a way to kind of help launch an offer, right? So they're on your email list, but you know, maybe you haven't been talking about this new upcoming offer. So instead of just sending a whole bunch of emails talking about it, you can say, hey, I would love to invite you to this webinar where we're going to be talking about X, Y, and Z. I think it'll support you. They go to that, and then again, they get that win, and then they go into your high ticket, whatever the case may be. So yes, you can use people already in your email list and still lead them to something else. It doesn't have to be just a lead to your email list. Now, if they aren't on your email list, a great place to start is social media. You can put out information about this lead magnet and how it can support them, and then easily they can just click the link to that opt-in landing page to sign up. This is a really great way to do it. Also, for those of you who speak, right? You go to speaking engagements, whether they're in person, whether they're virtual, live, pre-recorded, what have you. Even if it's a podcast, a lot of people will ask me if I'm on a podcast, do I have something free to give away? I always give them a lead magnet. So I'll have a QR code, I'll have a link, and then they can have access to that. And now they're on my email list. Same thing with in person. If I'm speaking, hey, this is something I'm giving you guys for free. They scan the QR code at the end of my session. It puts them in my email list, right? And you can customize it based on where you are. If you want to get the data for like how many people came from different things, you can always tweak the lead magnet so that you can see where those folks are coming from and make sure they're going to the offer that you have planned for them. But yeah, social media is great. Speaking engagements are great to pull them into it. People from your email list already. And then, of course, if you want to run ads, running ads to your lead magnet is also amazing, whether it be an event, a PDF, a webinar, anything in between. But just make sure you're strategic about, how much you're spending on ads and how well they convert so that you make sure that you're making money in the end. All right, so that's a lot, I know, but I wanted to give you all I could give you, even though I can't see. But like I said, guys, feel free to comment. Comment implementation if you want to come to the Implementation Lab live event that we're having virtually for free October 18th and 19th. And also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or just want to wish me soon a quick healing, feel free to put that in the chat as well. We will be talking more about the Implementation Lab live every day this week. My team said, girl, if you don't get up here and talk more on these lives, so you'll see me back every single day. I'm going to try to do my best to kind of pivot between Facebook and LinkedIn. If you want to see stuff on YouTube, the new episodes of the podcast are there and all the clips. You can enjoy that there. Instagram, we gonna see. we gonna see. And TikTok, y'all are getting all the clips and things as well. I don't know about live, but y'all getting the rest. So anywho, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for bearing with me, but I think we had a good chat. I think we took care of everything we needed to take care of. Join us back here next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another Monday Night Live. And guys, I will talk to you all soon. See you hopefully at the Implementation Lab live because we're gonna have an amazing time. Bye, guys. Are you a service-based small business owner juggling multiple roles and constantly racing against the clock? Make iRock Marketable Business Solution your trusted business partner in achieving business success. We understand the unique challenges you face in managing your business. That's why we offer a range of virtual assistant services tailored just for you. Our virtual assistants are skilled, dedicated, and ready to lighten your workload. Imagine having a partner who can handle your social media management, data entry, and travel plans. Picture a team that creates engaging video content for your audience. Think about never worrying about administrative tasks again. With iRock, you don't just save time, you gain peace of mind. Our virtual assistants are like an extension of your business, allowing you to focus on what you do best. Join the countless small business owners who have elevated their businesses with our VA services. Ready to take the next step towards business success? Discover how we can make your business journey smoother. Unlock the full potential of your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions.